Good afternoon, racing fans, and welcome back to the channel, proudly sponsored by Oddschecker. Okay, so we have the Aintree Festival meeting. You may have already seen that we've done our preview for all of the graded races, but what we have decided to do this year for something a little bit different is actually do a runner by runner guide for the highlight event of the week, which is, of course, the Aintree Randox Grand National. What I've asked the lads to do is we're going to go through them one by one, give a couple of sentences each about our thoughts on the runner, and then give it a star rating. We can only obviously have one horse as a five-star selection, and the three five-star selections that we pick throughout the episode, I am going to put into a TriCast, and if we so happen to land it, we will give it away to charity. And I will, of course, obviously post that on Twitter so everyone can see it. In the case that two of us have the same five-star selection, we will then look at some of the four-star selections that we put up and then decide which one we're going to put in to make the TriCast. Perhaps we'll do a TriCast of four selections even just to give us a chance of one more, perhaps. But this is just something a little bit different. We thought you might enjoy sort of a change of plan from us. We've done our usual preview. Thought we'd give this a whirl and see how we get on. In fact, what we'll do, we will put a fourth selection in, and what we'll do, we'll put an I Am Maximus, last year's winner. That's what we'll do.
Ah,
Regardless of what happens, you've got to have him in there, haven't we?
no,
Right, Jamie, how are you? How's your day been? We've had one day racing so far. Have you enjoyed it?
yeah, very good, Joe. I can't believe I didn't back Imperial Pass. But I backed Gaelic Wire for sentimental value. Unfortunately, I didn't say that on the preview, but I did. Look, that was Willie Mullins, everything going back onto. Um, I should have backed Mercia, but look, the 30 round
Oh,
swing,
don't,
like
don't.
that's the way it goes. But no, I lost him out one, and it's sad to see. Look, second last, obviously, Constitutional didn't win. Um, but uh, can people finally say that he's not the greatest hurdler of all time?
Well, we've discussed this many a times, haven't we? We said he might be the most talented, but he's
Mm.
not the greatest because we said longevity has to come into the conversation. Anyway, we'll have a look back at that sometime next week. Scotty, how you doing? You enjoyed today?
Yeah, it's been good. I'm fine, thanks. I took half a day off to watch it today at home from work, so it was nice. Had Lottie Mouth, she went in for me, and rest of the day was pretty much like Cheltenham. 4 seconds, live Conti, Gidley Park jet plane, and Calico.
Mm.
Hit the crossbar again, but no, really enjoyed the day. It was good fun, and you're very much looking forward to the rest of the week.
That live Conti ran a great race, didn't he, considering how much he
Very good.
Yeah,
drifted?
he drifted as well. I think he was when I put him up on the podcast the other night as the each way bet. I think he was about eights or nines, and he went off I think about 16s, which was a
Yeah.
strange drift. But he ran a blinder.
And before he even went to 16s, he actually went all the way into about 4-1 or something, didn't he, as well, before
Yeah,
the drift. So it looks like a real big horse, possibly one for next year to go chasing with.
I
Um,
think he's a great with hurdle horse.
do you? Yeah.
That's what I think he is.
Okay, well, look,
And
we won't.
Sholin's admired the novice horse.
Oh, yeah, possibly. Actually, yeah, no, she would be. 2 mile one's fine. Like we said, sort of off camera earlier, like when we were texting, she won't get any further than that, though, will she? She's a proper,
No.
like, speedy flat horse. She is 6.5, Mark II, isn't she?
Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, lads, we'll discuss a few bits like that next week. Let's jump straight on into the Grand National preview. I have actually written a couple of sentences. I got to about number 23. So after that, I'm going to start winging it, but we don't need them anyway because we've seen these runners enough time throughout the season. Right, we're going to start off with I Am Maximus, last year's winner. He is now 13-2. I'll kick us off with the first one, and then we'll just do a bit of a rotation. So I've written won a grade one over 2 mile four, and then went on to win the Bobby Joe before winning the Grand National last year. £8 higher now, which requires more, but he did that impressively. Missed his prep race for the Grand National this year, but must have strong claims if he can repeat last year's performance. His negative, though, is possibly his jumping. It isn't always top quality. I have I Am Maximus as a four-star selection. Jamie.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with what you said, Joe. But no, he'd be 2 star for me. Um,
Two.
I am Maximus is 2 star. Yeah. Two star. You have to remember when Tiger Roll won the Grand National, and the following year he wasn't the top weight because they obviously threw someone else in. He was 11 stone 9 when he won the second Grand National. Yeah. Um, I'm surprised it would he won is get another horse in before it, but no, he's two star for me. He might be in the first what each way. Do you know bookies will go first seven on the day or something like that, to rope you in. But to me, he'll finish about fourth or fifth. Yeah. Um, so he'll be two star for me.
Wow, that is a surprise for me straight away there. Scotty, whose side are you on, really? 2 star, 4 star, 3 star?
No, same as you. I had him as a 4 star. I think he's a good chance of going back to back. The only obviously negative is the weight he's got to carry, top weight 11, 12. Positive booking, Paul Townend obviously had the choice of the Mullins horses. There's some horses we'll talk about later on who he could have ridden. He's chosen him. He's been a bit quiet this year. You would think he was eighth in the Irish Gold Cup, but yeah. But for me, 4 star definitely has a big chance of going back to back.
Interesting. Lovely stuff. Right, we'll swiftly move on to Royal Pagaille, 125 to 1. Scotty, do you want to start us with Royal Pagaille?
Yeah, on positives. Obviously, good jockey, one of the best jockeys over the fences for me in the UK and Ireland. I think Charlie Deutsch is one of the best, so that's definitely a positive. Massive negative, the ground. And also, I'd fear that this is not his best time of the season, and I think he goes a bit over the top. The positive is he will definitely stay the trip, but I think he's been quite heavily raced, and we all know that his Gold Cup is Haydock in October. So for me, he's a 2 star.
Perfect. Jamie?
One star for me. Won't go on the ground. Shouldn't be in the race, and that's it.
Cool. I've got a 2 star as well. I've written an 11-year-old that needs a bog. 5 of his last 6 wins have come at Haydock. Talented horse, no doubt, but conditions and age are well against him here. So no fancy for Royal Pagaille. Right, we're going to move on to Nick Rocket next. And Jamie, he is a current price of 20 to 1. How many stars and what's your reasoning?
I'll give him two stars. He was third behind Percival Galaba in the Paddy Power. Obviously won the the
TS.
Tri days, and obviously won the Bobby Joe. But he's gone up too much in the weights for me. Um, who's on it? I can't remember who's on it. But to me, he's a two star, and I think he's been weighted out of it.
Okay, okay. Scotty, Nick Rocket.
Quick question: can we do half stars or was it full stars?
Full stars. We are going full
Okay.
stars.
Full
One to
star.
five.
Okay, again, Nick Rocket, similar to Jamie, I think the weight's against him.
Mhm.
Second season novice, not got much experience compared to some of the other runners in the field. On his side, he's definitely got the consistency, but again, mostly on soft ground. Won the Fiestas and the Bobby Joe. Patrick Mullins, you can take it as a positive or a negative. I'll take it as a positive. Patrick Mullins is good in the over the bigger fences, so I would give him a 3 star chance, but I would have given him maybe four if the ground was a bit softer. But for me, it's a 3 star for Nick Rocket.
Interesting. I've got him as a four, gents. I've written the form of his life, having won the TSDs on heavy. He then went on to win the Bobby Joe on good ground. He obviously beat Intense Raffles by a short distance, but there's a 15-pound swing in the weights. I think the one thing that is heavily in his favour is actually the faster ground. I think he's going to act on it. And if he stays, then he's going to have solid each way chances. I'd give Nick Rocket quite a good shout at the prices. Right, Grange Clare West next. Jamie.
I'll give him a three star.
Hmm.
Uh, I can't believe what they were doing in the Webster Cup in Navan, but I think they did it for get his weight down. That was it. But it wasn't because obviously the weights were for it. Um, Second to Gallop in the Champ, obviously second to Gold Cup. Didn't I know what you were thinking? Um, he's a three star. Um, I think he's too much high, but he's a three star. Yeah.
Scotty.
Slightly more as one of my stronger fancies for the race. Got him as a 4 star. I think he's very unexposed still. I know the Webster Cup. I don't know if the weights were out for the national before he ran there, so I don't know if it affected him. I don't know if that's correct or not. But um, getting beat by Sinestia in that race is obviously a bit worrying. But over 2.5 miles, it doesn't come into account here. I think there's plenty of horses that will come to this race that have raced over shorter distances that are not going to stay. I think Grange Clare West, for me, is going to stay the trip. I think he's got the class angle, and I think he fits the profile perfectly for this type of race. And I think at the age of 9, he's got plenty of chasing experience, and I think he's got a big chance.
Okay, 3 star for me. A classy horse who finished second in the Irish Gold Cup this season. He's been quite heavily penalised for it though, and he's probably going to come up against better handicapped horses. He does, however, remain slightly unexposed considering he's a 9-year-old, but he isn't sure to stay this trip, in my opinion, not potentially as well as others anyway. Okay, right, we're going to move on to Hewick next at 11 to 1. I will kick us off here. I've got him down as a 4 star. The 2023 King George winner who will love the ground and has the right style of racing for a Grand National. Seems to do his best work late on, and if he stays, which I think he will because of the ground, then he has every opportunity to add another fairy tale story to his resume. Big chance for the each way money at 11 to 1. Back to you then, Scotty.
I'm with you. I'm another 4 star here for Hewick. Absolutely brilliant profile for the race. King George winner, oozes class. The further they go, the better he'll be. I think the ground's going to be right in his favour. Got the jockey Gavin Sheehan back on board, who he won the King George with, so that's obviously a big positive. Had a nice little pipe opener and a win over hurdles at Turles back in March, early in March. So for me, I think when all the horses have cried enough and the stamina starts to sap from them, he'll be one of the ones that'll be finishing off the best. So for me, that's the kind of horse you want on the side. So the ground, stamina, class assured, grade one horse. Well, maybe not quite anymore, but it was only, I think, a year and a half ago he won the King George. So for me, that is a massive positive. All 3 points are made there. So he's a definite 4 star and one you need to get in the book for Saturday for your pounds.
Perfect. 4 star, 4 star. Jamie, full house.
I give him a 3 star.
Okay, okay.
I give him a 3 star. Look, everyone is latching on to him, obviously, but yeah, he's a 3 star. Exactly what you're saying. But he's a 3 star to me because I think he's everybody's um Hewick go ground and the whole lot. But I give him a 3 star.
Okay, fair enough. We're going to move on to Manila Indo, number 6 on the race card, 33 to 1. Scotty, kick us off with Manila Indo.
Yeah, obviously former Gold Cup winner, very classy horse. Won at the Cheltenham Festival, the Albert Bartlett. I think that was 6 years ago now. So stamina's obviously no problem for him. 12-year-old, major worry for me. Not many 12-year-olds have won the national in recent years, not in my lifetime anyway. Come down, I think, a bit in the weights from last year. He's had a couple of good runs this season in a chase effort at Punchestown way back in October, and his only other run was over hurdles back in February. I think the jockey booking of Rachel Blackmore is obviously a good thing. She's won the race in 2021. But for me, I don't think he can repeat the form from last year. I think it's a better race this year. So for me, he's a 2 star.
Perfect. For me, Gold Cup winner, the same like you said, 12-year-old, got plenty of class. His best days are probably going to be behind him. I think this is probably one season too far for him now. Can't see him pulling it off at the age of 12. Jamie.
1 star for me. Was third, fourth last year. No chance.
Cool. 2 star, 2 star, 1 star. Jamie, number 7 on the race card is Appreciate It at 80 to 1. Very classy as a novice hurdler at one point. But he's, well, it seems a long time ago now, really. What are his chances for the Grand National?
1 star for me. Done it again.
Scotty?
11-year-old, stats totally against him, carrying too much weight for this kind of race for him as an 11-year-old. I don't think he's a stayer. He's a 1 star, no hoper for me.
Perfect. And I've got him down as a 2, but you could have quite easily have him as a 1, to be honest. Physically, he looks like a stayer, but history tells us that he doesn't actually stay the trip. He has actually won this year and does have some decent form in the book from a long time ago, but I'd have big doubts about him staying the trip in a modern day national. Right, we're going to move on to Manila Kakuna next. Back to me, I think this is, and I've got him down as a 4 star at a current price of 16 to 1. He won the Bet365 Gold Cup at Sandown over 3 mile 4, and he was also third in the Irish Gold Cup last season. He's only £6 higher than his latest winning mark and looks highly likely to be able to stay this trip. Really good jumper. He's had a solid campaign this year, which has been built around this race. And he looks sure to run well. He has a big chance and no doubt one of the most solid horses in the race. For me, there's very little wrong. Can't see him out of the first 4. Scotty, I'm losing track of where we are, but we'll get us all done.
Yeah, Manila Kakuna, Grade 1 winner over hurdles in his novice campaign at the Dublin Racing Festival a good few years ago. when he was ahead of Minella Crooner, his stablemate and very similar namesake. Won, like you said, the old Whitbread Gold Cup last season, the Bet365 they call it now. He's a good horse, probably just lacking a gear or two to get past a few of these. I think he's one of those that if he gets there fallen quite far behind in the field, he just may not get home. I'm not convinced on him. I think he's got the ability, so I'll just give him a 3 star.
Okay.
But he's one that I'm not really keen to get involved with. But he would have a chance if he goes from the front and gets into a good rhythm. But for me, not really.
4 star from me, 3 star from Scotty. Jamie, Manila Cocooner.
Yeah, he'd be a three-star for me, Joe. He's probably everybody's looking at the Ripper exactly last year, but is he good enough to win it? Probably not. So he'd definitely be a three-star for me. Yeah.
Okay. Scotty, conflated. 125 to 1, number 9 on the race card.
Absolutely, I've conflated. Jordan Gainford's a great jockey booking for him. I would have given him a 1 star, but I'm just going to put him up to a 2, just because I thought he showed signs of his old spark running for a very long way in the plate at the Cheltenham Festival. He ran a great race. Maybe just lacks the gears and has a bit of the older legs now. So for me, I don't think again the trip will suit him. I know he's a one. I think he won the Irish Gold Cup a good few years ago, but for me, he's a regressive horse, so it'd be a 2 star.
Okay. Jamie,
0 star for me. He's done it again.
you've got to give him a star. You got one
No,
star as the
won't
minimum.
give him
No
no star.
star.
No
All
star.
right. I put him down as a 1 star, 125 to 1, a classy horse in his prime, but his best days to me look well behind him now. Jamie, number 10 is Stumptown at 9 to 1.
I give him a 4 star. I shouldn't be giving him a 4 star because I don't fancy him. But I'll retract my statement. I'll give him a 3 star. I think obviously from Tiger Roll days in the cross country and the whole lot, but if you look back at his cross country, Joe, he possibly shouldn't have won the race. Um, no, he was out in his legs in 3.5 miles. Keith Donoghue did his best to win it, but no, 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 no. He won't
So,
win the national.
so
So he's a
what?
3 star.
So what are you saying? One run too much for him this year, effectively. Is that what it
Correct,
is? Got
correct,
you.
correct.
Cool.
No, no, he's a 3 star for me.
Cool. Scotty.
Yeah, one of my stronger ones. 4 star for Stumptown. I'm not um, I'm not sold on the fact that the last run maybe taken too much out of him. I mean, if Tiger Roll could have won cross countries and nationals, I think Stumptown's a bigger, framier horse. I think he's definitely got the ability to go here and run well. The things like the Aintree turn and the canal turn and all of those kind of things. You've got the dummy runs at Cheltenham, the banks at Punchestown. This is his kind of race, and I think he's one of the stronger contenders. Guaranteed stayer, racking up a nice string of ones. Handicap mark, obviously not been effective since his win at Cheltenham. So yeah, massive, massive chance and a 4 star for me.
Perfect. I have him down as a 3 star as well. I actually latched onto him quite early, but changed my mind a little bit now. Outstanding as a cross-country chaser, won 4 in the row. Could possibly still just be about ahead of the handicapper. Not sure he's cut out for a Grand National as such now on this ground. He's probably just going to need everything to go right for him, which it could do, and that does make him an each-way player. The closer we've got to him, the less warm I am on his chances. Okay, Hitman next, number 11 at 100 to 1. He's finished second in his last 3 starts and hasn't won a race since 2022, so he has a lot to prove in that regard and has never ran beyond 3 miles. Far from sure to stay the trip, needs a miracle to feature despite being a consistent sort, and it's a 2 star job for me. Jamie, can't remember where we are.
0.
Gotta be 1 star.
No, 0. He's no chance.
You rule breaker. You're a rule breaker, Jamie.
No, no, it'd be a 0 star because if he's in the first 7, I give up backing Russell.
Scotty, Hitman.
I'd rather back the ambulance than back Hitman. Doesn't stay, won't stay, can't win, no hope, 1 star.
Okay. Beauport, Scotty, number 12 on the race card, 28 to 1.
Interesting because I'm going to use my 5 star on Beauport.
Wow.
Whoa!
Oh my God, I didn't expect that. Didn't
I
expect
just
that.
Beaufort?
I
Fair play.
really, really fancy him. You look at some horses who just get campaigned very, very sneakily throughout the season. He's ran an absolute career best over hurdles when he was, I think he was third at Ascot at Christmas behind Crambo. Then he ran another blinder at Haydock. He finished second in February. Again, that was over hurdles. His chase form's very solid. I think he won at Ascot in November. I just think Nigel Twiston-Davies, Sam Twiston-Davies, they've won the race in the past, the connections. They seem to produce some very good staying chases. I've just got the feeling he's going to be an absolute shock winner of this race. And for me, he ticks a lot of boxes, guaranteed stayer. And I put him up in November for this race. So I'm going to stick with him. He's my 5-star selection, and I think he's one that could upset the apple cart. He has a lot of class about him. I just think because he runs in a lot of handicaps, but he's showing that he's got grade one form over hurdles. I think he could produce it over fences as well. And I think this is a race that he could win. So for me, I'm going to put him as my 5-star.
Wow, Beauport,
Good.
the 5-star for Scotty. Interesting shout there, mate. Interesting. Jamie, I'll go first for this one. Really honest horse, bags of stamina, jumps really well too. I don't think he's necessarily classy enough to win the race, but if he gets himself into a good rhythm, then he does have place credentials. Wouldn't be one for me with regards to win purposes because his best form seems to go right-handed and he seems to jump out to his right, which isn't ideal. However, he does stay forever. I have him down as a 3-star selection. Jamie Wren.
Same as you, Joe. It'd be a three-star selection for me. He'd be up in the van. There's no doubt about that. He loved the ground. Obviously, he was third in the long walk this year, and obviously he was second to Gwenny May Boy. But no, to me, he'd be a three-star. But look, he'll give you 100% run for your money. Absolutely. He loved the ground, but he's a three-star for me.
Okay, and we'll stick with you then, Jay. Number 13 is Brave Man's Game for Paul Nichols. 50 to 1 at the moment.
I'll give him three stars as well.
Interesting.
I think he loved the ground. We all know James Reed is on. Um, he'll be out the back of the telly for the whole game, but yeah, I like him. I like him for the race, but does he like the ground is another thing. But no, I will say three-star for him. If he's in the first seven, what all bookies concessions will do, maybe. But I'll give him three-star.
Fair enough. Okay, for me, at one point, Brave Man's Game was a top class staying chaser, but for me, he doesn't have the same spark anymore. We don't actually know if he's even going to be sure to stay the trip, and there are much safer options for me in the field. Scotty, Brave Man's Game.
Yeah, same as you, Joe. I think best days are behind him. Former King George winner, former winner of the Courtauld Star Novices Chase, placed at Cheltenham Festivals in the Gold Cup and the Ballymore. Just think his best days are behind him. Again, only thing in his favour for me is the ground. He'll love the better ground. Jockey booking, Harry Cobden's riding the so-called stable number one elsewhere, which for me says they're not overly keen on him as the stable number one. And I will give him a 2-star chance because I don't think he's capable of staying this kind of trip, and I'm not sure the fences will suit him either.
Perfect. Okay, number 14 on the card is Chantry House at 100 to 1, and this is just a 1-star job for me. An 11-year-old whose best days are clearly behind him now. He did win at Cheltenham on New Year's Day, but has since then performed poorly once again. Really hard to trust at this age. Fully deserves to take his chance in here, but on current form, he's got no chance and he isn't getting any younger. Scotty, back to you.
I'm a slightly different opinion. I'm going to give him 3 stars just for the fact that he's won the grade one at the course.
Okay.
I know he's an 11-year-old, albeit he was maybe fortunate to win his grade one here. He won a grade one at the Cheltenham Festival over fences, and he did produce a very good run on New Year's Day to win that handicap out of Cheltenham. I know he was disappointing in deeper company, but again, that was a solid grade two behind the likes of Long Press and Stage Star. Stage Star ran a blinder today, so he's franked the form a little bit for Chantry House. I think Chantry House is a bit of a plodder. I think he'll really relish jumping these fences, and if he gets a good clear round, I can see him finishing in the first 7 or 8. So yeah, I would give him 3 stars because he could nick you in each way he plays. I think he's one of the lively outsiders.
Okay, love it. Yeah, nice one. Well done. Jamie?
One star, no chance.
Number 15, 3 under 5 for Paul Nichols. Can't remember who takes the ride actually here.
Harry Skelton.
Harry Scott, good job, yeah, nice one, Scotty. 80 to 1. Jamie, to start us off with 300 through 5.
One star, he needs the national to be right-handed.
Scotty,
2 star. Um, Again, ground's massively in his favour, but I just think he lacks a gear or two. I don't think this race will suit him. I think he's more suited to something like Jamie said, possibly going the other way around. Courses like Ascot, Wincanton, Badger Rails Trophy, Sodexo Gold Cup, those kind of races. Don't think this will be his cup of tea, and I don't think he'll get round. So 2 star would have been a 1 star, but just because I think he does stay really well and he'll like the ground. But for me, I don't think he's got a chance.
Perfect. Okay, for me, this is Brabant's game Mark 2. May not be the classiest animal anymore, but he does stay no problem. He was second sort of last time out and runs off the same mark again here, which means he could well run his race, but I don't think that's going to be good enough. And maybe I'd have him ahead of Brave Man's game, but he's got a lot to find still, despite having plenty of staying power. Number 16 on the card is Percival Legalwa for Gavin Cromwell at 12 to 1. Mr. Wren, go to you.
I will give him four.
Oh, I thought this was your five. Thought this was going to be a
No,
five job.
I give him four. I'd be shocked if Joe, all disrespect to anybody, is that if McManus doesn't win the race, but he's a 4 star for me. Obviously, I backed this horse for a long, long time. We were there when he fell in the Dublin Racing Festival, and obviously he won the Penny Power Chase. We were there when he won the 3 mile hurdle at Dublin Racing Festival. He's going up as a horse. Obviously, he was beaten up the back of the telly in the Kerry National by Florian Porter, who's a 2 time stairs hurdle winner. But um, I love the horse. I've backed him every time we've won. Obviously, he was second to Barry Connell horse, Gracia de Tay last year in the Punchestown Novice Handicap. But he's a 4 star for me. Mark Walsh is beyond, but I think he's a right chance. Yeah, yeah. I love Percival Galba. And yeah, he's a 4 star.
Scotty, do you share the same opinion? I get my words out.
Yes, I do. He's my second strongest fancy in the race. 4 star for me. Getting a stone from Iron Maximus. So at the top of the market, you got Iron Maximus and obviously Percival Legalwa is halfway down. Just think he could be JP's number one for the race. The Mark Walsh taking the ride, another huge positive. Like we said, won the Paddy Power, has won a race over hurdles at the Dublin Racing Festival. Very, very consistent horse, guaranteed to stay. Real solid jumper. I know he's had he had a fall at the DRF last year, but that doesn't worry me. He's one that will come there, and if he's coming around that the elbow, maybe a furlong before the elbow, and he's in the first 5 or 6. I don't think there's a horse in the race other than I Am Maximus. It's between the two of them as to who will stay the best, and we'll see heads down and Percival Legalwa getting all that weight. I think it could prove crucial. So for me, he's definitely got a big chance. four
Perfect.
star.
4 star for Scotty, 4 star for Jamie, and this is my 5 star selection, gent. So I think he is going to have a massive chance. This year has the perfect running style for this race, just like Hewick. They both come off the pace and finish their races well. He has won his last 2 races as well, and despite taking a big hike in the weight, he is still improving and may still be going the right way. With a clear round of jumping, which could be the only question mark, he has to come under strong consideration. He's the right age, he's got the right running style. It would be no surprise to see the best handicap trainer of the year, Gavin Cromwell, come and pick up the biggest handicap prize of the season. I think Percival Legalwa has an outstanding chance in the National this year. Right, we move on to the Hennessy winner, Can Do Kid, number 17 at 20 to 1. Let's go to Scotty.
Yeah, I'm going to give Candy Kid 3 stars. Almost gave him 2, but I just put him up to a 3 just from the respect. I think the Hennessy that he won, obviously he won it pretty well, beating Broadway Boy. The form hasn't worked out terribly well. Broadway Boy was very disappointing in the Ultima at Cheltenham. Can Do Kid for me again. I think the Hennessy's not as class as it used to be. I slightly worry whether it's I think he's a horse who people are trying to latch onto, another wise guy's horse. I just don't think he's got the quality to mix it with the likes of Iron Maximus, Grange Clare West, Percival Legalwa, Manila Kakuna, these almost grade one, top grade one horses. And I just don't think he's battle hardened enough. And I think he'll be found out in this race. And he's an unplaced for me. So just going to give him the 3 stars on the respect that he won the Hennessy, even though I don't think it was a good race.
Jamie, Can Do Kid for Nichols, seemingly the number one for Cobden.
Yeah, 2 stars for me, Joe. Not good enough to win it.
Simple as that. Okay, cool. 20 to 1 for Can Kid. 3-star selection from me. Seemingly the number one for Paul Nichols yard after obviously winning the Hennessy. Um, Sort of been mapped out for this race since. He is likely to stay, but I don't know if he's got the tactical speed to win here in the finish. That would be a big worry to me. Each way claims, though, are probably solid enough for him, but I don't think he's going to be one that's getting himself into the winner's enclosure. Jamie, number 18 is Iroko, 10 to 1. Talk to me.
5 stars for me.
Iroko, is it your number one?
5 stars for me.
Okay. Talk to me.
He's been trained all year for the race. Obviously, I was there more again a day when he lost to Trelawn. I obviously with John Gabuli won in Ascot. He was unlucky if I was the first. Gray Dawning ran well today in the Grey One, didn't he? And yeah, I think John Joe was keeping a few pounds. Look, obviously the weights were out then, and 152 is a great mark. The horse I've been on all year, Joe, is Rocco, and I'm not going to lie to the people who are watching this podcast. I'm back to the 25 to 1 November. I'm happy. I think it'll win. Won the Martin Pipe years ago. Yeah, I just really think this horse is going to win the Grand National. So it's a different race, obviously, from years ago. A 2.5 miler wins Grand Nationals. And yeah, Rocco, 5 stars all day long. I think he'll win.
Yeah, very solid case there, to be fair. James, like you said, this has been the plan all season long. It's been made no secret of. It was actually first announced on my podcast when I interviewed Josh
Exactly.
Guerrero. And he was a current 66 to 1 shot at the time. I will absolutely kick myself if he goes and wins this because I haven't had a penny on, even though it was announced on my, during the stable tour that I recorded. I don't think he's well enough treated myself. I think we are looking at a horse that could potentially be running like a horse that has another 5, 6 pounds under his bonnet. I'm not totally sure he is, but at the same time, like I said, I will kick myself, and I still think he's good enough to contest regardless at the same time. So I do still have him as a 4-star selection, even though he doesn't make my top three. Scotty, with me or are you with Jamie?
I'm totally opposite.
I knew
He
you were going
is
to say it because you said it earlier.
he is a one-star selection for me. I'm
A
sorry.
1 star.
All
What?
of his form,
No fucking way. How can
all
you
of
have
his
that horse
form,
at 1 star?
all of his best form, apart from the last time at Kelso, which was in Mickey Mouse Forerunner races on soft ground. He's barely raced over 2.5 miles. The only time he did was that race at Kelso, which even I could have beat the
What a
horse that
Martin
finished
Pipe.
third. The only piece of form that gives him the absolute glimmer of hope was his second to I Know the Way You're Thinking last year at Aintree, which was over a slightly further trip. I think he's the most
Gold Cup
overhyped
winner.
horse in
The
many years
Gold
going into a
Cup
Grand
winner.
National, and I don't think he'll stay. I think he's a soft horse, and I think he's got no chance.
So
One
one
star
a
for
one
Roku.
star from Scotty, 4 from me, and then 5 for
Aye.
Jamie. You've got our number one selections, but we move
Sorry.
on. No, it's all part of it, Scotty. Number 19 is Intense Raffles at 14 to 1. This is a horse that I've been latched onto for a long, long time. Irish national winner who was my initial fancy. Definitely holds strong credentials, but the big worry for me is now the ground. It's really putting me off that we got sort of good to soft, certainly on the gooder side of that. He may not be as effective over this trip on that faster surface. I thought a bit of soft ground would have meant that he would have seen out this trip really well. We haven't got that here, so I am now against him as a 3-star selection. Scotty?
Same shoot 3-star would have been a 4-star if there was some soft to heavy in the ground. I think you've got to respect his Irish national win, guaranteed stay. We all know that. Second in the Bobby Joe behind Nick Rocket. Nick Rocket is a very similar profile horse. For me, probably hasn't had the same success that Intense Raffles has had, but still won very good races. There's not a lot between them. So for me, just on the fact that the ground's against him, I go for a 3-star. And I think he is one that could potentially hit the frame, but I don't think he's got the win perspective again because I think the ground's against him.
I was watching the racing today, and I just to get him covered, I was thinking of backing Imperi Pass and doubling him up with Intense Raffles for the Menier colours. It's not really sort of bets I do, but I just fancied it. And when Imperi Pass, when I was like, damn it, like it's going to happen, isn't it? Jamie?
He's a 1 star for me, Joe. He won't go underground. Obviously, there's obviously former Rotoy when he, what was he, 3 year olds?
Yeah, you can't look at
Time,
it
yeah,
there,
yeah,
can you?
yeah, yeah. But he's a 1 star for me. If it was heavy ground, he'd be a 5 star for me. I think he'd win the national if it was 5 star. Obviously, like that was really bad ground when he won the Irish national last year. But he's a 1 star for me. I can't have him at all. I can't have him all year, to be honest with you. And it just me, he's a 1 star.
Okay, perfect. Jane, we'll stick with you now for senior chief number 20 on the race card at 33 to 1. What do you think?
He'll be a 4 star for me. I think Rachel Blackmore has chosen the wrong horse. That's just me. He loved the ground. He's been trained for the horse race all year, to be honest with you. He obviously won the handicap chase in October on good ground behind the short go. Look, I know the short go didn't do well in the ultimate, but he's definitely going under the radar. So he's definitely a 4 star for me.
Interesting. I am of similar opinion. I've got him as a three, but very similar. I think he's the dark horse in this race,
Mm.
actually. He's sure to stay the trip. In fact, he'd probably stay the London Marathon sort of distance. He won at Cheltenham this year,
Mm.
good fashion, improving race by race, bred to just stay forever. Got really good jockey in the saddle with Dara O'Keefe. His marker 151 looks to have him well treated. I know he's £9 higher than his win at Cheltenham, but I still think he's better than that. I'd give him a decent squeak at 33 to 1 each way, I suppose. Scotty, do you share our opinion here or got something else?
I had him about midway, about a 2 or 3. I've actually gone for a 2, if I'm being honest. I just think he's too inconsistent. Not convinced he's the best jumper in the field. Maybe the bigger fences will catch him out. I think the form behind Can Do Kid, he was way beaten behind Can Do Kid at Newbury in the Coral Cup.
I'll be staying on that there.
He did stay on that day, but he was still beating quite far. So again, if I'm going to give Can Do Kid 3 stars, I can't give this lad 3 stars. So just for that kind of form line and the reasoning, I'm going to give him 2.
Okay, perfect. On to Ida's boy, 150 to 1, number 21 on the race card. Nowhere near up to this class, is he? More chance that pigs could fly. Scotty?
1 star, yeah, again, age totally against him, not got the class. I think he's totally out of his depth, and I don't know if he'll don't want to wish horses not getting round, but for me, he seems like one that's at the back of the telly, and you'll hear him saying, I just boy pulled up." I think that's what we'll hear.
There we go. Jamie?
Oh, 0 star, no chance.
Number 22, Phil Daw at 80 to 1. Go on, Scotty, we'll start with you. Interesting, isn't it, with him for some
It's
reason?
just the bad boy says he's a 1 star with my head, but my heart says he's a 4 or 5 star because one day he's going to pop up and do something like Rule the World did years ago, running over these intermediate, just over 2 mile, 2 mile free trips, and goes and wins the Grand National as a maiden over fences. That's in the back of my mind. So I'm a bit in mid order. I'm going to give him a 3 because I don't even know what ground he goes on best. I seem to always get him wrong.
Hmm.
Jamie thinks I'm crazy here, but I'm just going to sit on the fence with him because he could come dead last or he could do something really stupid and get round, and I'll watch him run up that entry elbow and I'll go, no way. He
Yeah,
is a bit of an enigma for me, but there's something inside me that says he's going to run a very unpredictable, weird race and maybe hit the frame or do something. So I'm in the mid order with him. I'm going to give him a 3 star. I'm not going to discount him, but I'm not going to say he's going to win.
yeah, fine. I will go next here, Jamie, because I'm the same. I got him as a 3 star as well. I think if you look at all the other horses around him in the market at 80 to
Jesus
1,
Christ.
he is absolutely the one that could stay on better. Never really hit the heights that we expected to as a younger horse, but I think the fact that they thought he was going to be good when he was younger would probably suggest that he has got a good engine in there somewhere. Perhaps he's just a stayer. We've never really seen him being given the opportunity. It's interesting when the weights came out. Gordon Elliott said that Fildor was going to be his best chance. He said he'd had this planned for the season as well. And considering what he's got this year, which isn't much, that would possibly suggest that he fancies him a little bit too. So look, it is a question mark if he can stay, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Fildor in the first 5 or 6. Absolutely, 3 star for me. Jamie, doesn't sound like you're as keen though.
1 star for me. He's absolutely no chance on the ground. He can't do that. He's tripless. He's absolutely no chance. He'd be pulled up.
That trip plus angle, though, that is possibly why I think he could almost do something like, do you know what I mean? But we'll see. We shall see.
No, no, no. He's a one star. He's terrible. Go on.
N number 23 on the card, Broadway Boy, 80 to 1. Jamie.
One star again. He needs to be out in front, but Tushin Davis has a better horse in the race ballpark. He is the saltiest horse I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, he's in front. Look, he'll give you a run for your money if you go down in the morning, buy a paper, and say to yourself, "Oh, probably buy 80 to 1. We'll have €2 on it each way and the whole lot." He'll give you a run for your money if he's up in the bang bang with Beauport. But can he keep up with Beauport? Oh God, no. So he's a one star.
Yeah, Scotty.
2 star for me. I just think, like Jamie said, he nailed it. Got to be making his own running. Every time he gets taken on, he just doesn't like it. He's not going to get his own way here. So for me, I think he's going a bit backwards since he ran second in the Hennessy at Newbury. Last couple of runs haven't convinced me. So it's a 2 star. Definitely got the ability, but not at the moment. I think he's smaller fields. Back at Cheltenham, we'll see the best of him. But this race is out of his depth. 2 star.
Yeah, I agree. I've got him as a two. Second to Can Do Kid in that Hennessy. He's got one style of running. He goes off in front and just sort of tries to keep at the gallop. When you look at all of the horses in behind this year, and like we've mentioned, it's a much classier sort of Grand National, Iroko, your Stumptowns, I Am Maximus, even Vanillier and other horses like that. Plenty of better horses in this field than Broadway Boy. Um, Look, he might have a lot of stamina, but he's got no tactical speed. He's not going to pass horses to win the race, and he's not going to stay on from the front to win it either. You know, I'll downgrade it, 2 star down to one. However, he does deserve to be here at the same time. Okay, number 24, I believe, is Cocoa Beach, another one of the Gordon Elliott runners. Very much out of sorts. Scotty?
Going backwards for me, Cocoa Beach, very consistent performer. Back in his 7 or 8 year old kind of career. He's now 10-year-old. For me, I think he's a cross country horse, maybe on a bit of softer, heavy ground, but not even good enough to win cross country races these days. Stumptown is ahead of him in the pecking order in Ireland. I think he's had a few attempts at this race before, and I don't think he's got any improvement left in him. So he is a 2 star for me.
Jamie?
Oh, a zero star for me, Joe. Ran the race before. Um, no, he's done it again. So a zero for me.
Yeah, 1 star for me. Not the same horse he used to be. Don't understand how you can make a case for him really even to place in the current state. 25 is Stay Away Faith for Paul Nichols and Paul O'Brien. 100 to 1 shot here. For me, just simply not going to be good enough. Left a lot of his old form behind him. Probably is a stayer, but with forms of pulled up, pulled up, pulled up, and zero. He's obviously not really gone forward since his better form. Jamie?
Yeah, zero star as well. Obviously won the hour part of the years ago. Left Paul Nichols for Durham. No chance. Yeah, look, people back in that is your granny and your grandfather back in that for Euro. So no, no chance.
Scotty?
Yeah, he was, like Jamie said, brilliant winner of the Albert Bartlett a few seasons ago. Very gutsy horse. You know, when he puts his head down, he's up for a fight. Won the Isha Grade 2 at Sandown, beating Giovinco, the ill-fated Giovinco, a couple of seasons ago as a novice chaser. And he, for me, left his career behind when he was, I think, third or fourth in the Cotswold Chase, running an open company. Not been the same horse since then. And I think he's got no chance as well. So he's a 1 star for me.
Perfect. Next up, we'll go on to Meeting of the Waters for Willie Mullins at 22 to 1. Danny Mullins in the saddle. I'm going to start here if that's okay. I've got him down as a 4 star actually. This is a horse that has shown no form to suggest he's good enough to win this race. And I know he may have looked like he was a non-stayer in the race last year too, but this has absolutely been the plan now for some time. He isn't even bred to sort of be a Grand National winner, but you've got to remember neither was I Am Maximus, but Willie Mullins managed to manufacture him into a Grand National horse. Galopin de Champs wasn't bred to win a Gold Cup. Willie Mullins managed to manufacture him into a Gold Cup horse, and I think this has been the long-term plan with Meeting of the Water. So I know the form figures aren't there, but there's clearly a lot of ability in this horse. He was obviously eye-catching enough for Willie Mullins to tell JP to buy him from Paul Byrne. Wouldn't have cost a short penny, you know, he'd have been fairly expensive. And I think this is a horse that we're going to see a massively improved performance from this weekend. 4 star for Meeting of the Waters for me. Jamie.
I totally agree with you. He's a four star. Um, baiting around. Remember that day we were above in Dublin race with Little Joe? We couldn't believe it was 7-4 to win the 3 mile handicap. Earl and Percival Gallo won the race. Yeah, he's definitely going to be the first spot. The bookies are going to give you what, first six, seven. Um, what was he, 7, 8 year old last year in the race? But yeah, he's a 4 star for me, and he's definitely a huge threat to Rocco. Yeah.
Perfect. Scotty.
Slightly different opinion for me. I think he ran a career best in the Ultima last year, finishing third behind Chianti Classico and Twig on heavy ground. He was then a bit disappointing this season. I know he finished seventh in the National last year. I just think those two races, the Ultima and the National, have left a bit of a mark on him this season. Maybe as a very lightly raced horse, I think, as a 7-year-old last season. And like I said, I think those races have taken their toll. Sent off a ridiculously short price favourite, had a DRF over hurdles. Disappointing again since early in March at Leopardstown. For me, I think he's featherweight, obviously in his favour. But for me, I'm not convinced. I think his form speaks to his ability this season. So for me, he's a 2 star, and I don't think he'll hit the frame this year.
Fair enough. That's absolutely fine. Next up, we move on to Monbeg Genius for John Joe O'Neill at 40 to 1. Jamie?
I give a 2 star, Joe. I think he liked the round. Obviously, what did he last day? You talked to her.
Hmm.
I think he was like about 2 or 3 years, 2, 3 years ago. A horse. Obviously, he was third behind. Was he third behind Cork Rambler and Faster Stow in the Ultimate there a couple of years ago. When we was really fancied.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Obviously, stage trainers. Yeah, he's a 2 star for me. He might like the round, but no, he's a 2 star. If he wins the national, I give up.
Fair enough. I'd see him in like the mold of what the Grand National like used to be when we had the proper big fences.
Yes.
You know, it's a proper test. It's a different race now. So I'd give him a 2 star. I just think he falls a little bit short on class of what's actually needed. But if we rewind this 5 years, I'd have given him a huge chance. Scotty?
Totally agree with you guys. I'm not 2 star as well. I think he's a bit of a love affair horse. People seem to have memories going back to that race. Jamie mentioned the fast or slow Korak Rambler. Been very disappointing since, albeit I think his form, for me, he's better on soft to heavy ground. I think his wins have come on that surface. Ground will be against him. I think the class angle will truly tell against him here. So I'll be giving him a 2 star. Did you hear that?
Yeah, we did. It
Yeah.
sort of, yeah, it just caught up in the end. It caught up in the end.
Okay.
Okay, Jamie, number 28, Vanillier. A little bit of an enigma. Sean Flanagan nearly ran him off the course in the cross country. He's plenty talented enough. Like, what do you think of him for this year?
4 star.
Okay.
Um, Obviously second to Tiger Road when he's second Grand National. I think he's been waiting all year for it. Obviously took the wrong course in the cross country against Stumptown. I think he'd be a lot closer if he didn't take the wrong course against Stumptown. Yeah, he's definitely a 4 star because he's been trained for the race, and Graham Comrade is a genius. Yeah, he's a 4 star for me too.
Yeah, okay. I'll go next, Scotty. I will give him a 3 star, just slightly below you there, Jamie.
Mm.
Again, I was with him in sort of Stumptown with that similar sort of correlating form for the race. The nearer we get, not as keen on him as I was. I think he's going to be wearing a tongue tie this time as well. Just slightly concerns me around a national. 3 star for me, but I totally see the case. Scotty.
I'm with you, Joe. Slightly below Jamie's opinion of him now this season. Second in the race a few years ago. Again, another Albert Bartlett winner in here. Probably would have got closer to Stumptown if he didn't lose about half a furlong trying to turn the wrong way at Cheltenham. So I think that was a bit deceiving, his third place finish. He's a lot better than he showed there. But for me, again, I just think could be one race too many for him this year. I know Stumptown's a very similar kind of profile, but I think Stumptown's obviously unexposed over these fences, never ran on them before. Vanillia's had his chance. I just think he's going to fall a bit short this year, and maybe he'll sneak into the frame, but for me, a 3 star.
Perfect. Number 29 is Horanzo Dairy. A little bit of a fairy tale. He's 150 to 1 to win this. He was picked up, I think it was 50 grand that the trainer Michael Keedy paid for. Kieran Gethin's in the saddle. Was with Rich Ritchie and Mullins at one point. Scotty, any case to be made for him? He's another that's wearing a tongue tie.
Yeah, obviously the headgear and all the tongue tie in this race is probably not ideal. I think he's a bit of a no-hoper, if I'm being honest. I'll give him maybe, I'll have to give him 1 star. I just think he's one of those that's got absolutely no chance. Form's not good enough. He was well tipped up for that big race at Newbury, the one we spoke about a few times. I think me and Jamie might have backed him that day. I think I backed him that day anyway, and he finished ninth of 13. And I just think he's got no chance. 1 star.
Jamie?
0 star. Rich Ritchie didn't set him for a reason.
Fair point, fair point. And I'm the same. Don't give him any hope here as a 1 star selection. Right, Scott, you're actually going to come straight back round to you, Higgs. We've got Highland at 22 to 1, a horse that's been sort of in your on your radar all year long for this and that and that and this. Do you give him a chance here under Nico? It would be quite ironic, wouldn't it, that Nico's been getting all this slack for the road on Con Hill and then he goes and wins the national on Highland.
Yeah, I'd give him a 3 star. I'd almost give him a 4, but again, I just think stamina's unassured for this kind of trip. Kempton going right-handed last time, second, ran an absolute blinder. Um, I tipped him up as an Ultima horse. This is obviously the plan. He's just snuck in, literally at the bottom of the weights, and I think the ground is obviously going to be real good for him. But I just think, again, as a novice, it's a massive ask for him, and it's a 3 star for me. I don't think he can win the race. I think he could potentially place, but just because stamina's unassured, I have to go 3 star.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'd give him a 3 as well. I actually think he's too much of an exuberant jumper. Like he not sure to stay because of that reason. He'll ping these fences, but he'll almost give too much daylight in between himself and the fences round Aintree. Um, all of his best form actually came left-handed, didn't it? Until he ran against the jukebox man.
Yes.
So
Yeah, form
maybe,
at Cheltenham earlier in the season. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So maybe he'll handle this really well. Actually, just that jumping, I almost think he's too good at jumping for a national. Jamie.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100% he'd be a 3 star. Yeah, he loved the round. Will he stay exactly what you're saying, Joe? Will he
Mm.
stay? Yeah, he definitely has a chance. Yeah, a lot of wise guys would be on him. Yeah. He might be in the first 7. Yeah,
Okay, fair enough. Solid enough horse, isn't he? Next up, Celeb Dalen for Philip Hobbs and Johnson White, 150 to 1, 13-year-old, 1 star. Can't give him a chance of even making the frame here unless we have umpteen amount of fallers, but even then, not necessarily sure that he'll be the one staying on into any sort of place. Jamie?
0.
Scotty?
Only positive in his profile is that he's had 3 goes on the fences in various races like the Topham, I think, and the Beecher. He's got around every single time, but age is totally against him. No teenager has won this race for over 100 years, 13 or 14-year-old. 1 star, no chance.
Okay, number 32 is 3 card brag for Gordon Elliott and Sean Bowen at 25 to 1. Jamie, come back to you because you're pulling a face. I don't know if it means you fancy him or not.
1 star. He won't go on the run.
Scotty?
I'm giving him 2 stars because I think he's a very potential classy horse with a big handicap in him. Um, I know he won a nice race at Navan over 3 miles, but again, soft ground. As Jamie said it, he won't go in the ground. I think he's one of those horses that is very ground dependent, a bit like Banbridge over fences. So for me, 2 stars.
Yeah, I'd be the same. Just think he is a plodder, but he's an untactically versatile plodder. Don't see how he manages to win off this sort of mark. Number 33 is Twig for Ben Pauling. This is a lovely horse, Twig at 80 to 1. We have mentioned him earlier on in the year, to be fair.
Scotty's
Gra
favorite son.
Ground probably shouldn't be an issue, Scotty. I imagine he'll stay the trip actually as well. I'll tell you
Yeah,
what, he's off 146 here. He is not a no-hoper to the finest degree, you know. He was second at the Cheltenham
what
Festival in
price
his
can you see
3 mile
there?
run. 80 to 1.
80 to 1. Yeah, I'm going to give him 3 stars because last season when I backed him in the Ultima, I was screaming all year about him. They prepped him to the minute for that race. I thought his race was gone because the ground was absolutely horrible that day at the festival, and he still managed to finish second behind a top class novice in Chianti Classico. He's a very good point-to-point former point-to-point horse, and they were going to retire him after his point-to-point runs, and then they kept him on running. They've seen something in him, and I just think this is the kind of race he is like an absolute. If you were going to do a carbon copy robotic horse for a Grand National, he is that kind of horse. And I think he will love the fences, and he is one of the biggest outsiders who has a chance of hitting the frame. And I think he's a cracking each way bet, so I'm going to give him 3 stars.
Yeah, nice. I like it. I like it. Jamie?
I'll give him two. Exactly what Scotty said. I really like this horse for the ultimate, obviously coming back, but yeah, I'll give him two, Joe. Skeptically, I'll give him two. Exactly. Scotty's said exactly what he thinks of him. Yeah, two. Is he really good enough to win the race? Because it's a classic or a race now. Not really, but look, he'll be a two-star for me. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I will go up with Scotty here and give him a 3 star. I'm gonna upgrade him a little bit because he goes really well on fast ground as well. Not all of these are going to. A lot of these, I'd say 65-70% of this field are likely to go better on soft ground than they would good. I think Twig probably goes better on good ground than he does soft. I know it's good to soft, but it's definitely on the faster side of that. So I will upgrade it to 3 stars. Duffel Coat is at the very bottom of the weights now. Gordon Elliott, Danny Gilligan, 66 to 1. I just don't think he's good enough for this, fellas, is he, Scotty?
He's like a little splinter in my mind, this horse. He's ever since he finished second, I think it was on the Galway plate last
A
summer, he
Pinkerton.
just showed sparks of something of ability that he could potentially pop up in a big race like this one day and run a blinder. He was a very good juvenile horse. I think he's now, what is he now? I think he's an 8-year-old. So 4 years ago, he would have been running against the likes of Quilixios, all those horses in juvenile years. Zanit here, he was in that he was in that breed, that crop of juveniles that year. Quilixios, Zanit here, all good 2 mile free horses. Dufflecoat, I backed him for the National Hunt Chase, didn't get round. I think he's a 2 star for me. I think he's very similar to kind of the horses I mentioned previously at big prices like Twig. And we've gone through so many horses. There was one up Phil Door. I think he could be one of those that could surprise somebody. And if he ran on to a place finish in the top 6, it wouldn't be the biggest surprise to me.
Okay,
But instead of giving him 3 stars, I don't think he's got the win aspect in him. I'll give him a 2 star just on the angle that it would be a bit of a shock if he ran well, but I wouldn't put it past him.
perfect. Jamie.
1 star, second to Pinkerton in the Galway plate. He had his day. Forget about him.
Okay, fine. There we go. 34 runners. I could have probably done that a little bit better in hindsight. Next year, lads, I'll mention the trainer jockey. We'll do it that way. It was our first time. We just jumped on. I thought we'd wing a bit of a runner by runner guide, but now's the important part. We have our 3 best selections. Percival Lagawa for me, Iroko for Jamie, and Beauport for Scotty. They are our 5-star selections. As promised, I am going to now put us on a TriCast with these selections. Beauport, Percival, Lagawa, and Iroko. Um, whatever we win from this, if we win anything at all, I will put towards charity. I'll post everything on Twitter so you can all see it. But what I am going to ask you for now, lads, is who fills the places then for you? It's got to be the 4-star selections. Can't remember who you all put up, but I'll go first, okay? My top 4 in order. Percival Lagawa to beat Manila Kakuna, to beat Hewick, to beat Meeting of the Waters. Whoever's ready. Jamie, are you ready with your places?
Yeah,
So Iroko is number
Iroko.
1.
Iroko will be Beating of the Waters, Percival Galba, and Beauport.
Scotty?
Yeah, Beauport to win, Percival Lagawa to finish second, Stumptown to finish third, and I am Maximus, the reigning champion, to get fourth.
Perfect stuff. Well, what I'm going to do is put our first 3 each as well in TriCast 2. I think we should cover the bases, just a little bit of fun. Beauport, Percival Lagawa, and Stumptown for Scotty. Let's get that one on. Jamie, Iroko, Raya, there we go. Meeting of the Waters down the bottom somewhere. There he is. And Percival Lagawa for the 3.
And Beauport.
Beauport's your 4th, though. I'm just doing our top
Yeah.
3 in the combo, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's that one done. And then mine, Percival Lagawa, Manila, Kakuna, and Hewitt. Where are you? There you are. Wanted to place it now, lads, whilst we're on, so they're done and dusted. And that is that. So the TriCast, I'll just read them out. Mine, Hewitt, Manila, Kakuna, Percival Lagawa. Jamie's is Percival Lagawa, Arocco, and Meeting of the Waters. Scotty's is Stumptown, Beauport, and Percival Lagawa. But our individual top three each are also combined Beauport, Percival Lagawa, and Iroko. Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. We hope you liked that. It's just something a little bit different. A few improvements that I sort of thought of mid episode, which we will do for next year. But we've still got some good racing to go for the rest of the week. What are you doing then, boys? Scott, you're at work again tomorrow, but you're off Saturday to watch it, are you?
Yeah, I haven't got any plans for Saturday. I might potentially hit the pub, but see where the world takes me.
Jamie?
Same as see what the world takes me.
All right, nice one, fellas. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget this episode is sponsored by Oddschecker. Thank you for the support. Again, we really do appreciate it. If you can like, subscribe, which is completely free to do, it just supports the channel a little bit more. And pop your selections in the comment section below. I will give someone who picks the winner a free month or something in my group as a little bit of a thank you for tuning in. Good luck with your bets, and we'll see you all again real soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.